Hi friends, welcome to A Glow in the Dark. I'm Carissa Kurowski, and today I wanted to talk about using the five love languages for self-care and self-love. So if you're not familiar with the concept of the five love languages, it is a book written by Gary Chapman, and the love languages are acts of service. So, doing something nice for someone else, like chores, cleaning the house, um, just kind of helping that person. Words of affirmation, so speaking positively about that person. Gifts, pretty self explanatory. um, Physical touch, and this does not specifically include sex. It is more about gestures, so pats on the shoulder, hugging, snuggling, just kind of those little intimate touches that we give each other as humans. And then quality time, so giving that person your undivided attention and spending time with them. I have loved the five love languages for a long time, and I think it's really helpful in supporting other people and just getting to know what they enjoy and what makes them feel good. But the same can be said for yourself. You should also figure out what supports you the best. And the reason for this is, in my opinion, twofold. First, you are better able to advocate for yourself. You can tell your loved ones what makes you feel most loved. And two is that you can show yourself that same love. And especially in the things you give to other people, you definitely want to use other people's love languages, but you can also, I think, support yourself by giving your love language to someone else. So, for example, if you have a love language of acts of service, then maybe you would find it fulfilling to go and volunteer and do an act of service for someone else. Because that is your love language, it's also something that you're really feeling like you're giving to someone else. If your love language is quality time, you could find another person with that same language, or just give that to someone else who maybe even knows that that's part of your love language. Again, not ignoring theirs, but also just doing what feels right for you as well. I always appreciate it. Sometimes it's hard to recognize when someone's giving from their love language, but if you know that if you recognize that that's their love language, it can feel still good to receive that from the other person. So I'm trying to think of a good example here. Because my husband and I mostly have the same kind of ranking of our love languages, but both of us value things a little bit more than others. But if he does something from another love language that maybe might not be high on my list, I still appreciate it if I know that that's him saying that I love you. So I hope that makes sense. This is just kind of how I've thought about it in my own head. And I feel that knowing your love language is a really good way to support yourself and advocate for what makes you feel loved, which again is contributing to your self-love. And just to touch on that briefly again, I don't know if we've covered it enough in the video themes for this month, but self-love is important, because if you are unable to love yourself, you are unable to love other people. And I know that sounds cheesy and stupid, but most of us, I feel like, have probably had a clarifying moment in our lives where we learned that to be true. It kind of goes along with this statement of you can't fill from an empty cup. That's how I view loving yourself, is that if you all you have in your cup is resentment and anger and hate towards yourself, it's really difficult to move on from that and give nice things to other people. You're spending so much energy on hating yourself that there's just nothing left. So, I also did a video on the self-care debate and how it's not selfish. This kind of follows in with that self-love, self-care. It's all kind of the same thing. So I hope that's helpful for you. A little bit of a shorter video, because I think the love languages have been covered quite a bit out there in the world, but I really just wanted to touch on how it could be beneficial to your own self-love and self-care to kind of study that and learn about yourself. If you want me to cover more on this topic, I'm happy to. Leave a comment, let me know. And as always, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week.